Okay, today we're learning about the discriminant. So, in the quadratic formula, write this down. In the quadratic formula, comma. In the quadratic formula, the expression b squared minus 4ac is the discriminant. So y'all remember the quadratic formula we learned yesterday? That piece of the formula is called the discriminant. So let's write the quadratic formula right here. X equals, who remembers it? Negative b squared plus or minus. Oh my gosh, thank you. I got ahead of myself. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This part of the formula is called the discriminant. Just that part. So what we're going to learn is that because the discriminant is under the radical symbol, what's the radical symbol we just talked about? A radical is this thing. Because the discriminant is under the radical symbol, the value of the discriminant can be used to determine the number of solutions. So if you know b squared minus 4ac, then you can look at the problem and tell me, does it have one solution, two solutions, or no solution? So how? Right here. If you do b squared minus 4ac and it is greater than 0, you're going to have two solutions. Any number greater than 0. If it's equal to 0, you're going to have one solution. And if it's less than 0, you're going to have, and that means that you're going to get a negative number, because what's less than 0? So if you get a negative number under the radical sign, then your answer is going to be no solution. Does everybody understand? So why would we use this? To simply look at it and say, hey, that's going to have this many answers. All right. So are we solving today? Or are we just going to answer how many answers we would get? Right. All right. So we'll go to the bottom. Here is a quadratic equation. We are going to tell how many solutions, if any, it would have by looking at what would go under the radical symbol. All right, are y'all ready? What is A? What is B? And what is C? And now we're only going to look at the part under the radical symbol. So what's the part under the radical symbol? B squared minus 4ac. If this value is greater than 0, then I'm going to have two solutions. If it's equal to 0, I'm going to have, and if it's less than 0, I'm going to have no solution. All right, so let's just plug it in. B squared is what? 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. And then you can just stick it in your calculator. You can do 36 minus 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 5 is, what's 36 minus 40? Negative 4. So since my solution under the this would be under the radical sign, right? And you can't have a negative under a radical sign, so my answer would be no solution. Will this solve the quadratic? It's just going to tell you how many solutions, okay? All right, let's do the next one. What's my A? Oh, what's my A? Thank you. What's my B? What's my B? 0, because there's no coefficient with an X. And what's my C? There we go. All right, so I'm just going to plug it into what would be under the radical symbol to see how many answers I would get. So I need to do B squared minus 4AC. So 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 7. So what's 0 times 0? What's negative 4 times 1? And what's negative 4 times negative 7? Positive 28. So I would have a 28 under the radical sign. So how many solutions would I get? 2 solutions. That's it. We're going to do a few more. All right. What's my A? What's my B? What's my C? All right, so I'm checking B squared minus 4AC. So negative 12. Now, anytime you put that in your calculator, it needs to be in parentheses. Minus 4 times 9. What's negative 12 times negative 12? No, what's negative times a negative? There you go, 144. What's negative 4 times positive 4? Negative 16. And what's negative 16 times 9? Negative 144. What's 144 minus 144? And if I have a square root of 0, how many solutions will I have? 1 solution. And you have a little thing up here telling you if you get 0, it's going to give you 1 solution. Now, just turn to the back. We're not going to do it, but let's talk about it. At the top, it says, find the number of solutions. Isn't that what we were just doing? And at the bottom, it says, find the number of x-intercepts. It's the same thing. A solution is the x-intercept. What else can they call it? Roots. What else can they call it? Zeros. So if it says find the number of zeros, find the number of roots, find the number of x-intercepts, find the number of solutions, it's asking for the same thing. Do y'all need to do any more? Are y'all sure? Yeah. Okay.